Welcome to this episode of One More Round. I'm excited to have Laura Timm with me. Laura is an international speaker. She's also the director of Success Without Limits. My job, as always, is to try and get the best out of my guests so that you are inspired, educated, and motivated in your business and in your life. Laura, great to have you on today's One More Round show.
It's a really great pleasure to be here, so thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you have created yourself a nice little niche, so there is people that do know who you are. You're also now the Global Woman Ambassador in Los Angeles, and I'm sure we'll probably touch on that at some point. But for those of the people that don't know you, because even though we have the brilliance of social media now where even a little unknown can become somebody of significance, through social, tell people who you are. And it's always interesting to me because when I ask this, people often say what they do, but they don't necessarily say who they are. But I know you're a woman of depth, so we'll throw you right in there. Who is Laura Timm?
So let's talk about the combination of who I am and what I do. So I am a speaker. I love motivating and inspiring people, but I also love teaching. So whenever I speak, I add as much value as I can because it's important for me for people not to just walk away with feeling excited, but also being able to use some tips and tools and techniques that I've developed over the years and which I love, and getting feedback from people months later how it's affected their lives and how they become happier and achieve more in their life is just something that I love, and for me that's who I am. Living on purpose is part of who I am, and helping others. I don't see any other way. When people ask me when will I retire, I will never retire. I will keep on doing things, whether it's charity, whether it's business. I love people and I love business, and being able to combine the two with the speaking but also business mentoring, and creating a company called Success Without Limits, which is very much about helping people succeed, but also for them to realize that success is never one thing. And we all have our own definition for success, but also there's different aspects of success. It's not just about money, wealth, and creating a business. It's also about living a life that you enjoy, seeing your friends, making time for family, being healthy, being happy, being balanced. So it's a combination, and the mix is different for every person. And with Success Without Limits, I help people learn from different mentors and coaches who are experts in their field and can really, really help you focus on different aspects of your life at different times. And also there's products that can help you, and gadgets, because I'm now also known about finding these little gadgets that help me with my personal life, professional life, filming, cameras, technology. So yeah, that's me, and for me, I base my decisions on my values and my beliefs. Anything that I do, if it's not in line, then I just change and I find a new way and a better way. I love challenges. I was very young when I realized that challenges are ways for me to grow and improve and learn. And initially it was sports that I liked when they challenged me, and I went several times from being the worst player to being one of the best players, whether it was basketball, football, other games as well. And then I transferred that mindset skill and that loving challenges into business and other aspects of my life. So, and that's what I inspire others to do.
Very good. Now, I always think it's really important that businesses that are able to put their personality into, their business, and we talk about we do business with people. We don't do it with a logo. And there's certain businesses you always associate with an individual rather than, an actual brand as such. If I was to ask you, Laura, what's like one word that you want people to associate with you? What would be that one word that you want people to say, when I think of Laura Timm, I think of this?
Well, that word for me is very easy. It's limitless, and hence the name of the company as well, Success Without Limits. And it's always been me believing that anything that I want to do, I can. Whether it's sports, whether it's different businesses. I've worked in such a vast different companies, whether it's to do with IT, motor industry, construction, retail, hospitality, logistics, anything you can think of, because I love a challenge and I love learning about things. And I want other people to believe that they can start over. Age is just a number. Success is not ages. So whatever age you're at, it doesn't come into consideration when it's building a life for yourself. And also, I don't just talk about being limitless or believing in yourself. I've gone from this girl from a small country of Estonia in the Baltics, the tiniest country, to moving to London in 2010, building up myself over here as well, and now also being the global woman regional director in Los Angeles, because I was there in October and I just thought, why not? And that's who I am, and that's what I do, and through my actions, I also inspire others. So
beautiful. I'm always fascinated by how somebody's put together, you know, in terms of their habits, the way that they do things. When is the sweet spot of the day for you? Is it the morning when you first wake up? Is it in the afternoon, or do you get inspired under the cover of darkness?
It's funny, some of the best work that I've done has been about 2, 3 a.m. And that's been that way ever since I was very young. But I think it's because there's no distractions, whether it's phones, TV, anything like that. But at the same time, if I need to get something done, I can focus any time of the day, especially if I'm excited. And it's interesting, when I prepare for speaking engagements, the first thing I ask is, what would they like me to speak about that can help the audience the most? And then once I deliver my speech, I'm always like, could I have added something more? And then the organizers look at me, they were like, Laura, we weren't expecting you to add as much value and real content and tips and tools that people can actually take with them. And I get the same feedback from people when they do hear me speak. They're like, from out of the speakers here, they were all motivational, but you actually gave us tools that we can use in our everyday life.
That's so important, isn't it, to have a mix of storytelling, but also have something practical and tangible that people can actually then use.
And it's funny, I recently spoke in California, and I got so wrapped up in my talking and so excited, I almost fell off the stage.
Now, I know you've talked about you being, you know, a lover of gadgets. If you were to share one business tool or app that you feel has brought you a degree of success, or something that you've really resonated with, what would that be?
Well, for me, if it's a startup company, social media does play a big part in people's businesses. So tools like canva.com, to be able to create either social media posts, covers, banners, presentations, anything like that. It's a free tool. There's so many templates that people can use and create your own brand and image. That's a great tool, but also being able to schedule in your social media. Hootsuite is great. And on another aspect, CRM systems. Once you start building up your client base, having a system that has the information of your clients in one place can just save you so much time and effort. And there's different ones. There's Soho CRM, there's Nutshell, there's Clever Timm. Those are the smaller ones that actually are affordable, that have a small monthly fee. Obviously, there's the bigger ones, Oracle and Sage, etc. But start with the smaller ones. Make sure you have systems in place.
Very good. And just finally, a book. You know, I know that we read a lot because it's how we educate and inspire ourselves. What's the one book that you can kind of put your name to and say, this needs to be read?
Personality Plus. I'm such a fan. It helps people understand others by understanding themselves first. It can help you with relationships, business partnerships. It can just help you build bridges instead of burning them.
Comparison. We all seem to do it. We all seem to want to know whether we measure up. So we compare ourselves to the woman on the left and the man on the right. But I've always been focused on the fact that the greatest competition that I have is me. You are not called to be Mark Sephton, you're called to be you. And there's something liberating that once you realize that you are your yardstick, that you are the standard in which you set for yourself, it becomes fairly liberating, because when you find out who you are and you fully immerse yourself into your own development, actually that's when you really start to connect with people. You create that authentic appearance and connection, which actually gives you the influence and the impact that we all need in order to create a business, to create a legacy. So comparing yourself to others is futile. Just focus on, how can I be better than I was yesterday? How can I continue to develop myself and bring who I am to the forefront of all that I do? Okay, the show is called One More Round. And when I first was thinking of a title, because I know we've talked about titles before, offline, about the importance of sharing the content and the meat of what it is within the title. People like to know what's on the tin, and so a title needed to really encompass what it was that I wanted to create. But for you, Laura, when you hear the words "one more round," what do you conjure up? What are some of the thoughts and the pictures that you may think of when you think of one more round?
One more round can be so many different things as well. It could be giving something or someone a new chance in life. It could be starting over with something completely different, or not allowing obstacles to stop you and just giving it another go. I think that's what it is. And whatever aspect it is in your life, there's always a second chance or a third chance. As long as you keep on going, you will succeed. And I think people, when you see someone succeeding, it looks easy. It's never easy. It's a lot of hard work. And when people say that, oh, you can be successful within a year, that does happen, but very rarely. Usually success is a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of issues and problems that need tackling. So for me, One More Round is more about having the persistence and resilience to continue doing what you believe in, because that's the only way you will succeed.
Yeah, that importance of keeping going.
And it's not easy. A lot of times it's difficult to get up and keep on going, but as long as you can continue doing that and not being frustrated or disappointed by yourself by the time that you wasted, it doesn't matter. As long as you get up and keep on going, that's what matters.
So at the moment, I'm hearing a lot around patience, that we live in a society that's all about now, instant gratification. But yet, in some cases, that sweet sauce, as Gary Vee says, having patience within business is so important to the longevity. But because we live in a world that's so instant gratification, sometimes people literally don't have the stomach to be able to persevere through when life is tricky and tough, especially in business.
I think we're also very self-critical. We see others succeeding, we see the image of them succeeding without really knowing what's really happening behind the scenes, whether it's the hard work or whether it's just the perception. Especially with social media, you can appear to be very successful and being all over the world, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. So people get disheartened thinking that I can't do that, or why don't I have that success? Don't worry, don't compare yourself to others, just focus on your journey and focus on building yourself up. So yeah, it's the perception, and we're far too self-critical. So I tell a lot of people, if they would reverse the roles, if they would have to give someone their opinion or advice, they'd be like, oh, don't worry, it's just a journey. You have time, you're doing fine. But when it comes to ourselves, we are far too critical, thinking that we haven't done enough, we don't do things fast enough, we don't have enough money yet, we don't have enough clients yet, when that might not be the case.
Very true. Life's a mosaic of the beautiful and the brutal. When we touch and we talk about one more round, we talk about not giving up and going again. Can you share maybe a personal story of when you had to go one more round, and what kept you, moving forward and picking yourself up?
There's several stories, but I think what comes to business, it's usually partnerships. Finding the right partners, but also realizing when it's time to step away. And usually when I step away, it's because my values aren't met and my standards aren't met. And it can be painful, but always the giving people a new chance and a second chance, especially when it's new people, not holding on to those past painful experiences and learning from those and implementing those when you build up new relationships. So anything that I've done, I always try to look at myself first. Can I do something to improve this situation? But then it's also recognizing when the situation has served its purpose and just moving forwards. So that's for me one more round in a sense. And yes, in business, it's very important to find the right people to work with and being okay with not working with everyone and realizing that it's not your journey.
Yeah, so I presume in your life you've had partnerships that have served a purpose, but then have almost reached a sell-by date in some ways.
I think it's been more down to the fact also finding these little things when it comes to monies. As soon as you have a business partner who you see is not very good with money side and is starting to cheat suppliers, telling them that we've received less stock, that's a big warning sign, and that is not the way I do business. So, and things where your business partners get either jealous or they just start burning bridges with clients and not looking after clients are big no-nos for me. So, but at the same time, not allowing those experiences to stop me from working with other people in the future and taking those as learning curves, but also as the fire for me to continue doing what I'm doing and being that, no, there's a better way to do business and this is my way and this is the way I want to be perceived and this is the value that I want to deliver. So
very good.
Yeah.
When we go through challenges, Laura, because we all go through difficulties, the roller coaster of the whole entrepreneurial life, you know, we have massive highs and then deep, you know, dips. For me, one of the things that I do is if something's really gone, you know, to pot and I'm really, you know, struggling with something or something's, you know, unjust, something unfair, something's happened, I literally set my phone on my phone. I set the clock on my phone for like 10 minutes. And I literally allow that 10 minutes to go, and that's where I literally have a bit of a pity party or frustration, maybe let out a few, you know, screams or whatever that looks like. But then once that alarm goes, then I'm done with it. I kind of draw a line in the sand. Is there anything like that you do, you know, during difficult times that can be maybe a practical help to people so that, you know, they've got some tangible things? Because I know that we talked at the start that when you speak, you often share good stories, but also practical. Have you got any nuggets within that?
I think for me what works is going for a run.
Okay.
Running completely focuses me, clears my head, and I know exactly what I need to do. Decisions come to me very easily. So for me, being active, even when I'm traveling, whether I'm on the plane, or I'm on a train, anything like that, decisions come very easily and very quickly. Other things that have always been very helpful, thinking about situations, about the best case scenario, the worst case scenario, and the most likely case scenario. And then going even deeper that, okay, if the best happens, what do I do then? If the worst happens, what's my plan B, plan C, plan D, and so etc. And also the most realistic plan. So it's about thinking what's going to happen potentially and preparing for all of those scenarios. People usually don't take the time to think those steps through. They just see what's in front of them. They don't really think what's behind those decisions and those actions.
I think the main thing that you're saying is the importance of making a decision is really critical when we go through challenges, but indecision is the thing that actually costs us more.
Time, energy, and effort, then you end up spending so much of your emotions and energy on worrying instead of making a choice and going with your decision.
Laura, tell us something that majority of people don't know about you.
Oh gosh, that's a funny one. I think people who see me in a business setting you usually see me in a business suit and I'm very professional yet friendly. And then when people get to know me more, they see that there's so many different sides to me, and that I love laughing, I love to have fun, I love spending time with my family and friends. I don't really share a lot of my personal life on social media. It's called private, so I keep it private. I might sometimes share a picture or two when I spend time with my nieces or my closest friends. I'm very, very blessed to have incredible friends and family who are very supportive. So I always knew that I would come to the point in my life where if you do anything in life, you'll be criticized. And that I won't allow that to stop me, because if I allow that to stop me, how can I tell someone else that go and do it? And I can't. So having the love and support from my family and friends will always keep me going and will keep me grounded. But yeah, I think people would be surprised how many different sides I have. How I get excited about challenges, climbing mountains, going for hikes, going for a run, swim, anything that's slightly out of the norm. I'm usually up for things, and I have a lot of fun, and I don't worry about whether I win or I lose. I just enjoy the process and the journey. So yeah, I think people are quite surprised when they spend time with me, how different it can be, just my business professional side, but also the fun side.
So you love the adventure.
I do, yeah.
Which makes sense. You came from Estonia. You're in the UK. You obviously have ties in Los Angeles. You talk about
I travel all the time.
You do. You talk about people's perception. I think we joked about the fact that you're like a traveling gypsy, didn't you? And
Yeah,
I think
we did.
somebody actually called you that.
And one of my clients and one of my members, she also came up with the hashtag Where's Laura? So
Yeah, where's Laura in the world?
yeah,
We'll
every
have
time
to
she calls me, I'm in a new country. So
create the Laura GPS-like app,
yeah.
so that people can know exactly where Laura Timm is at any one place. Now, obviously, your journey, we're always fascinated by people's journeys, and it's always interesting how you meet people in some of the most subtle of ways. We've talked about how we've met people on planes before that have opened up into fascinating conversations, connections. What made you arrive in the UK? So obviously you're the director of Success Without Limits. You're an international speaker. How did it all start for you? Did your calling find you, or did you find it?
It's interesting. I knew that I will be living in the UK ever since I was very young. I'm not sure how it started or where it started from, whether it was the English books that tell you about the history of England. I just knew I would be speaking English and I'd be traveling and living a global life. And also I knew that I would become a speaker one day when I was about 12, because I remember being at school listening to one of the teachers potentially with all of the school kids in that auditorium, and realizing that the only thing different between me and the other kids was the fact that all of us had dreams, but I 200% believed that I can make those things happen for me, but the other kids didn't. And it made me sad, and I remember thinking, okay, I'm gonna become successful so I can then go back and speak to especially school kids, share my journey to inspire them, because I knew that if I tell someone that you can do it all, but I haven't done it, like, who's gonna believe me? Who's gonna follow my lead? And I always believe leading by example, so I just decided that I will have my journey, have my successes, so I can share my tips, tools, and inspire others and help them succeed as well.
Beautiful. I know that you've been on the speaking circuit for a number of years.
Yeah.
What do you feel really makes a good talk, and typically how do you feel that you best articulate your expertise to an audience?
I think it's the ability to relate to people and understand that we all have struggles, and being able to tap into that feeling in a person that I've experienced something similar, and this is how I overcame it, and this is what you can do. If you can do that, you'll have an impact. And being able to have that small change in a person's life is what matters, and that can completely change the life forever. So being able to relate and help people see things differently, and it's almost like opening the doors for them, for them to be able to actually I can do this. I can become the person I was meant to be, and this is how. If she's done it, I can as well. And I love it because I have people who are 10, 20 years older than me, or who are teenagers who are like, Laura, because you've done it, I know that I can do it. And I love it.
Pioneer,
I absolutely love that.
Love that. Yeah, it's awesome. You know, being able to set the example, lead, pioneer, drive, drive something. What are you working on currently? And I know you're obviously involved in a lot. And how do you make decisions in terms of what you're involved in? I have like 3 filters that I go through, which is, am I good at this? Does this excite me? Will this take me to where I want to go? Do you have a kind of a plan as to how you decide on what to go after?
It's a combination of the fact that I say yes to projects that I believe will benefit me and down the line, where I know I can influence people and I can help others. And I've said yes to projects that I thought I would not be ready for yet, but I knew that it would help me 3 or 5 years down the line and be beneficial. Also, it's important to me who I work with, what the integrity is, and if it's in line with who I am and my brand, because whoever you are your brand. And I've built up my brand with people because they've experienced the way I am, the way I deliver, the way I treat people. So that's very important for me, but also being able to build something with others and help them grow and help them, whether it's building themselves up or building up other businesses and collaborations. So I always look at myself, if it's in line with me, if it's going to help me build up my brand and my businesses so I can help others, and also who I collaborate with, who are those people and how they can also grow. Because being able to help everyone involved is my end goal. And when it comes to projects, it's speaking, it's workshops for businesses and corporations, helping their people come together as a team and become high achievers as myself, and help them really look at their business differently and structure their business in a better and more efficient way so they can save time and use that time to grow and really do things aligned with their values and beliefs and grow.
Great. So constantly giving of yourself
Yeah,
into the areas.
Yeah.
We can see that, can see that through the connections and the interactions, that we've had, and your ability to serve, others and create environments which, you're fully giving of yourself, you're pioneering, you're educating, you're leading.
And that's what I love about running Global Women Los Angeles, bringing these women together and helping them grow and shine and really collaborate. And it's amazing doing that on a global level as well, connecting people from Europe with the US, with the UK. So yeah, it's very natural for me. I love it.
And for people to continue find out more about you and to be able to collaborate and involve you in their projects, hire you to speak, how do people find out more about you, and how do you like people to connect with you best?
So simple ways. My website is lauratimm.com. I'm sure it will be in the comments as well. And my social media is the Laura Timm. So whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, those channels, but also, get in touch, laura@lauratimm.com.
That's a double M?
Yes, double M, no S. So TIMM, lauratimm.com.
Very good. Well, Laura, it's been great to have you on today's One More Round.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.